We live in a world that dismisses dragons, unicorns, and winged horses as myths. Yet throughout history, many real creatures were also considered imaginary when first discovered. Explorers and scientists often met disbelief when describing strange beings they had seen. Here are 7 examples of animals once thought to be legends, but later proven to exist. 1. The giant jerboa, or kangaroo. In the 17th century, Dutch sailors exploring New Holland, now Australia, claimed to have seen a creature the size of a man, standing on its hind legs like a bird and jumping like a frog. The description sounded absurd, and most people laughed at their stories. A century later, in 1770, Captain James Cook and his crew encountered the same mysterious jumpers while hunting. The local people told them the animals were called kangaroos. Even then, scientists in Europe refused to believe in such an odd creature until 20 years later, when it was finally described scientifically by Dr. George Shaw. 2. The water mole with a duck's bill. When the first preserved skin of a platypus arrived in London in 1799, scientists suspected it was a fake. The animal had the body of a mammal, but the bill and webbed feet of a duck. George Shaw carefully examined the skin and confirmed it was genuine. Years later, researchers discovered that the platypus lays eggs, yet nurses its young with milk, making it one of the most unique mammals on Earth. 3. The pouch tiger. European settlers in Tasmania told tales of a striped predator that looked like a mix between a wolf and a tiger. Many dismissed the stories as fantasy, but sightings continued through the 19th century, and by the early 1900s the creature was recognized as the Tasmanian tiger, or thylacine. Sadly, it was hunted to extinction, and the last known one died in captivity in 1936. Was the Ouroboros. For centuries, the Ouroboros was known only as an ancient symbol of a snake biting its own tail, representing eternity and rebirth. Egyptian, Indian, and Chinese traditions used it in art and mythology. Today, we know there is an African lizard, the armadillo-girdled lizard, that actually bites its own tail when threatened, forming a living circle. The mythical symbol, it turns out, was inspired by nature. 5. The ram as big as a buffalo. In the 19th century, British explorer Brian Houghton Hodgson received the head of a huge goat-like animal from Tibet. Its skull was so large that it seemed impossible for a real ram. Locals called it the Taken. For decades, scientists doubted its existence until another explorer, Robert White, finally found living specimens in the Himalayan mountains. 6. The white bear of China. Before the late 19th century, no one in the Western world had heard of the panda. Even in China, it was surrounded by legend, known as the white bear because of its pale fur. French naturalist Armand David saw a pelt of this mysterious animal and became determined to find it. Yet it was not until 1938 that a living panda was brought to the United States, where it caused a sensation and ended the disbelief. 7. The half-zebra, half-giraffe. When African tribes in the Congo told explorers about a striped forest animal called the okapi, no one took them seriously. Scientists were sure that no such hoofed creature existed. After years of searching, explorers finally obtained a skin and skull, confirming the okapi's reality. When the first live okapi was brought to Europe in 1919, zoologists discovered that it was in fact a close relative of the giraffe, not the zebra. History shows that the line between myth and reality can be thin. Many animals once dismissed as fantasy turned out to be wonderfully real, reminding us how much of the natural world still waits to be discovered.